Battle of Yarmouk. The wind howled across the barren plains. Dust rose from the earth like a warning, as if the land itself knew that something terrible was about to happen. Two massive armies stood facing each other on the edge of history. On one side stood the soldiers of the Rashidun Caliphate, battle-hardened warriors driven by faith and unity. On the other side stood the mighty army of the Byzantine Empire, one of the most powerful empires the world had ever known. Between them lay a harsh valley near the Yarmouk River, a place that would soon become one of the most decisive battlefields in history. The year was 636 AD, and within a few days, the fate of the entire Middle East would change forever. But no one standing on that battlefield yet knew the scale of what was about to unfold. What they knew was that retreat was no longer possible. Behind the Muslim army stretched the deadly ravines of the Yarmouk Valley. Behind the Byzantine army stood the pride of a centuries-old empire. This was not just a battle, it was a clash of civilizations. And at the center of it all stood a brilliant commander whose name would echo across centuries: Khalid ibn al-Walid, a man feared by enemies and trusted absolutely by his soldiers. But the road to this battlefield had begun years earlier. Decades before the clash at Yarmouk, the Middle East had been dominated by two superpowers: the Byzantine Empire in the west and the Sasanian Empire in the east. For centuries, these two giants fought brutal wars against each other. Their armies clashed across deserts, mountains, and ancient cities. By the early 600s, both empires were exhausted. In 602 AD, a devastating war erupted between them, known today as the Byzantine-Sasanian War of 602 to 628. It was one of the longest and most destructive conflicts of the ancient world. Cities were destroyed, economies collapsed, and countless soldiers died. Although the Byzantines eventually emerged victorious in 628 AD, the victory came at an enormous cost. Their armies were weakened, their treasury was drained, their frontier defenses were fragile. And that moment of weakness would soon change history, because a new power was rising in the Arabian Peninsula. In 632 AD, after the death of Muhammad, the newly formed Muslim state faced a critical moment. Many tribes rebelled. The Arabian Peninsula threatened to fall into chaos. But under the leadership of Abu Bakr, the rebellion was crushed during the Ridda Wars. Within a short time, Arabia was unified again. Now the new Muslim state looked beyond its borders. To the north lay the powerful Byzantine territories of Syria, rich cities, strategic trade routes, and powerful garrisons. In 634 AD, Muslim forces began moving northward. Several armies marched toward Byzantine lands. The Byzantines initially underestimated these forces, but they soon realized something dangerous. These armies were disciplined, motivated, and led by brilliant commanders. Among them was a man whose tactical genius would soon reshape the battlefield: Khalid ibn al-Walid. Khalid had already built a legendary reputation. Once a fierce opponent of Islam, he later became one of its greatest generals. His military campaigns against the Sasanian Empire had stunned observers. Rapid marches, unexpected attacks, and brilliant maneuver warfare. But his most famous march came in 634 AD, when Muslim armies in Syria faced overwhelming Byzantine resistance. Khalid made a daring decision. Instead of taking the long, safe route, he led his army across the brutal Syrian desert. It was a journey many believed impossible. Water was scarce, temperatures were deadly, yet Khalid pushed his soldiers forward. And after days of relentless marching, his army suddenly appeared where the Byzantines least expected it. The move shocked the enemy. It saved the Muslim armies in Syria, and it proved something important. Khalid was not just brave, he was unpredictable. Over the next 2 years, the conflict between the Muslims and the Byzantines intensified. Cities like Damascus, Basra, and other strategic strongholds became battlegrounds. Victories and losses came from both sides. But the Byzantine Emperor, Heraclius, refused to lose Syria without a fight. Heraclius had already spent years fighting the Persians. He had rebuilt his empire once, and now he would attempt. And after days of relentless marching, his army suddenly appeared where the Byzantines least expected it. The move shocked the enemy. It saved the Muslim armies in Syria, and it proved something important. Khalid was not just brave, he was unpredictable. Over the next 2 years, the conflict between the Muslims and the Byzantines intensified. Cities like Damascus, Basra, and other strategic strongholds became battlegrounds. Victories and losses came from both sides. But the Byzantine Emperor, Heraclius, refused to lose Syria without a fight. Heraclius had already spent years fighting the Persians. He had rebuilt his empire once, and now he would attempt to do it again. From across the empire, he gathered a massive army. Greek soldiers, Armenian warriors, Slavic fighters, Christian Arab tribes. It was a huge coalition force. Some estimates suggest 80,000 to 100,000 soldiers, perhaps even more. Their mission was simple: destroy the Muslim armies in Syria, push them back into Arabia, and restore Byzantine control. Meanwhile, the Muslim forces were far smaller, perhaps 25,000 to 40,000 soldiers in total. They were divided into several armies across Syria. Facing the growing Byzantine threat, Muslim leaders realized they needed to unite their forces. So they made a strategic decision. All Muslim armies would regroup near the Yarmouk River, a rugged region filled with cliffs and valleys. The location was dangerous, but it offered one crucial advantage. It limited the ability of the massive Byzantine army to surround them. Still, the situation looked grim. The Byzantines outnumbered them heavily. Many soldiers knew this battle might be their last. And yet, morale remained strong because they trusted their commander, Khalid ibn al-Walid. By August 636 AD, the two armies finally faced each other. The battlefield stretched across the plains near the Yarmouk River. Deep ravines surrounded the area. Steep cliffs made escape difficult. Once the fighting began, there would be no easy retreat. For several days, the armies observed each other. Skirmishes erupted. Negotiations were attempted. Both sides tried to weaken the other's morale, but neither side would back down. The Byzantines believed victory was inevitable. Their numbers alone seemed overwhelming. But Khalid saw something different. He saw an opportunity, because the Byzantine army, although massive, was divided into many different groups, different languages, different commanders, different loyalties. And Khalid knew that unity on the battlefield could defeat even the largest army. What followed would become one of the most brilliant military campaigns in history. The decisive clash would begin on 15 August 636 AD. And for 6 days, the plains of Yarmouk would witness relentless combat. Charges of cavalry, walls of shields, desperate counterattacks, and moments where victory seemed to swing from one side to the other. But no one could yet predict how devastating the final outcome would be, because the real battle had not even begun. And when it did, the world would never be the same again.